It is our final day of Community Camp. So thank you all. I see some veteran attendees who have attended literally every single day this week. So it's been a true pleasure to spend every 4 p.m. Eastern time this week. I'm honestly kind of going to miss it, Elcott. It's kind of like a nice break in the day.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm gonna enjoy the time back. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Elcott's like, give me my calendar back.
But it's
Well,
been great. Yeah.
Well, this is in partnership with Pivot Point. So we're super excited to be here. Again, really featuring leaders, guest speakers, really school owners and directors primarily, as well as several educators that are using our financial literacy program just to come on and share a little bit about their passion for financial literacy, how they're using the program so all of us can learn some best practices. And so really, I always share this slide. I think this just continues to illustrate the opportunity for more financial literacy in this sector, and really the gap. And really kudos to people like Jill and so many other owners and leaders who are really not just acknowledging this gap, but actually putting something into place in their curriculum to help change this. So for those of you not familiar, it's an 8-module curriculum, lots of lessons. I'm going to skim over this. If you want more information on the particular program, you can reach out to us. And again, our goal is to make finance and money simple, visual, and actionable. So our co-hosts, I feel like I'm so redundant for those people who have been on with us. It's like, yes, I know who you are. I'm Erin. I'm president of CUNITY and CUNITY for Schools. Super excited to be here. And my co-host is Elcott of Pivot Point. Elcott, if you want to say hello.
Hello. I'm Alcott Zubek, and I lead sales for the US and Canada. So happy to be here today. Especially happy to end the week with Jill Krahn. I think she's a trailblazer as it relates to, I think, successful business training for students and now financial literacy. So I'm so excited to tap into your brain today, Jill, and
Thank you.
being
Yeah.
able to share what you're doing.
So let's kick it off right away. This is really about not about Elcott and I. We're really here to feature Jill. And Jill, I'm so grateful that you took time to join us. And you have quite a few roles in the industry, and you're one of those people. There's several people that I've met in the industry. There's also several women in the industry that I really look up to and that are not just doing their job and not just focusing on being a great school, or in your case, being also a great salon owner and your role with spec, but you're also super involved in industry, what is wrong with me? It's whatever time, industry advocacy as well. And I know you have a deep passion and you are involved in it constantly. And so I'd love just to kick off, because you owning the T-Spa Academy in Fargo is just one of your many hats that you wear. So I'd love for you just to give a little bit of background on you and your role for those that are listening.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I obviously see I need to take a new Head and Shoulders shot. I keep saying I'm going to never do it. So anyway, welcome everybody. My name is Jill Krahn. I am a beauty industry person that just loves this industry. I feel so blessed to have been able to grow up in this industry. I am a cosmetologist as my first background. I also have a salon and day spa in Fargo, North Dakota, and it's kind of unique. It's got a med spa. We do full spa, but a lot of med spa too, which is really fun. And then hair, and it's a little bit of a hybrid. So we do offer 4 different types of pay for our people, because we call it our lifestyle salon, because there's so many people that are in a different point in their life that they have different needs. We have where they can come on onboarding right out of beauty school. So we have where they get an hourly, so they feel like they're safe kind of for a while until they really start to build up a clientele. Then we bring them up their option. If they want to stay in the hourly, they can improve their hourly based on performance, or they can go to a commission structure that we have and where they can climb up from there. Then we also have one for young moms, because there's a lot of single moms out there, that we just built a program for, that they can flex between whatever is open. So they have that flexibility being a single mom. And then we also have independence, but the independence in our salon, we're very lucky, because we're all like under one roof and we still think we're all a same team. But everything goes through our front desk. In our state, we had to do some rearranging to make that work. Every state law is different, so you do have to hire an attorney to do this, but our front desk is our like answering service for all the different types of pay we have. But all the money goes through the front desk. So there's no tax evasion, there's none of that. And they're happy because they have that flexibility with where they need with their kids, and I've even had a few go back to the commission because of the money, you know. So it goes back and forth on what they're looking for, or they don't want to do all the ordering and so on. So we have that in our salon too. We also have something unique. It's called a celebration center. That's how it started anyway. It's turned into an event center. It's called the Grotto. We have a full martini bar, wine, beer, everything for our guests. We're kind of connected. The back of our building's connected to a restaurant. So they serve the food. We do all kinds of celebrations, graduation party, weddings, especially in 2020, we did a ton of weddings. So that was very exciting. But I would not have the salon the size it is if I didn't have my own school. So I'm really lucky because I have a resource center. The reason I opened my school is the other school owner in town told me I couldn't come to recruit anymore because I was his competition. But that probably didn't work out so well for him. So then I opened my own school. And as I got into the school business, I realized there was so much missing because I saw so many associates being treated like they were shampoo girls or cleaning people instead of really learning the trade. So it was my mission and all my partners' missions that we were going to change that. So 20 some years ago, I hate to even add it all up, we decided to come up with a new plan. And long story short, we took the plan to Pat Perenni at Redken, and then we launched our franchise beauty schools sponsored by Redken and L'Oreal. So that's been really fun. So not only do I have my own school, but we also have a team. In fact, I just got off a Zoom call, 4-hour Zoom call with our ops team, just trying to better our best because, you know, there's always room for growth. Running schools across the country. So when I met Erin, I was so impressed with what she had because she made my job so much easier. And it was way more detailed than I had the time to even put together. And we use it all the time in our schools. It's amazing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thanks, Jill.
So good. Listen, to make all this work, right? To make all this, is particularly all the complexities of your innovative salon and also running a school and running an operations team with spec. I mean, it's all about culture, right? And it's establishing this culture of this mindset of success, and not just creating beautiful artists and successful professionals, but making sure functionally that they understand the operations of a salon, which is you kind of been on the forefront of that. You've been doing that for a very long time, right? And then I think leading up to this new product with that you've introduced a couple of years back, which is Cunity Money and Money by Cunity, and you know it's almost like what do you do with the success that you learned through your organization, how to in school in terms of operations? What do you do with that money to make sure that it's most beneficial for you? Tell us how do you use it in your schools, and how do you incorporate the money curriculum in your schools?
Yes, first of all, it's amazing, but the main thing is every state is different and they have different laws, and with deregulation, it's really affected some of our schools of what we can and can't put into our curriculum. So each state is a little bit different. I am lucky, I'm in North Dakota, and we're at 1,800 hours, even though the state says 1,500 hours, but unfortunately I have to change that coming up soon because of legislative rules. Anyway, but with that, I have a little bit more flex time to give more content to the students. So in my program, I'm able to put the Cunity in every one of my programs. I can only put it into half of my nail program because of what they need to learn the design and how to build out nails. And the other half we have as homework. So let's just say that you're a school owner and you have people that aren't booked and you don't know what to do with these students when they're not booked. The beautiful thing about Cunity is that's their homework, and we can see if they watched the video or not. We can tell if they took the test or not, and it's tools and information they need. So there's so many different aspects of it that really helps our students, and it kind of takes it to a different level. And then if they pass the test, I really know they focused on it. So we use it in our curriculum. And then for people that need to do makeup hours, we use it for that. And for people that, you know, weren't able to build their clientele the way we would like them to be, we use it for that too. So it's a great tool to use when you need to give them something to do, but you want to make sure it's a great student experience time.
Yeah, it's great productive time, right? So it's like
Yep.
instead of watching a YouTube video or that kind of thing, they're putting that time to work. So that's really a great strategy, because I think every school will have some downtime in their student salon, right? There's never, if you don't, that's great. More power to you. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and you should probably share your secrets. But every school would have a little bit of downtime, particularly in their student salon operations. So that's brilliant. That's why we haven't heard that all week. So that's actually a new great tip. So well done.
It's a great tool for anybody in downtown, even in the salon. So especially for the newbies, we have the Chris Barron's
Mhm.
associate program that we use for our new people, but we just recently now have added on the community pieces too, because they all came right
Wow.
from school. So
Mm.
we only hire our graduates, and they came from the school. So the two together are really powerful
That's
I
brilliant.
love it.
Yeah.
for onboarding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really, really smart. So they didn't get it where that education somewhere else, or they didn't get it from your school. They're going to get it when they start their careers. So
Mhm.
everyone is on an even playing field. That's also brilliant, right? Like lovely. It's a
Well,
whole, yeah.
you know, that onboarding experience in the school and in the salon is so important to their experience. And nowadays, their experience is everything more than it was 40 years ago when I started. It's really important how we do it now. It's way different than we used to display it before, but it really helps the culture because it's all about them. And it's all about how can we help them make more? Because, you know, I always look at they're feeding their kids and their families. So that's important that's my job, to make sure they have all the tools to make it the best that they can do.
Yeah, that was my next question for you, Jill, because just in hearing you talk about the different way you structure compensation in the salon, even, a single mom path. I mean, like, how many single moms are in this? I would love to do a data project, honestly,
Mhm.
our next data project. How many single mothers are in this industry, or, single parents? And so I love that you have that offering, but you obviously see the importance of financial literacy from hiring candidates, from working with students in the school, from your work with spec on a national level. But tell me why you are personally passionate about the topic of financial literacy.
Because I think that people in this industry, you know, majority of them probably aren't that way, a majority of the students anyway. So it's really important that they learn from somebody, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So it's very
Mhm.
important that we teach that. And what I love about it, it goes so into detail on so many different areas. So it kind of attracts everybody's needs. But that's thing they used to always say you're a beautician, not a mathematician. Well, not anymore. So nowadays you do it all, and you have to make it all work. And nowadays the students and the newcomers, their time is so valuable. Part of it I love, because I came from the old school that, you haven't had a good day and you've got everything done. You have to have everything done. You work a long day, then it's a good day. I'm a farmer's daughter, grew up
Mm.
driving a truck and a tractor and a combine, and that's just how I grew up. So I grew up from a little different era, where nowadays they care about their wellness and their time off more. And I probably a little bit bad that way, because all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock at night and my husband's calling me, are you ever coming home? So I think the balance is good. I think from our generation to their generation, I think some of it's good. Some of it I worry about
Mm.
some of the people. I mean, you did that thing about what you make at, 20 some hours a week and what you make at 38 or 36 hours a week. I mean, I put that on our internal pages so that our staff could see the difference
Right.
in money with time, and really, what are you doing in that time? And is it really worth it? So then you have to kind of do the law of averages. Yes, if I just work 10 hours more, I can make this much more. So we have internal pages, Facebook, that we use just for our internal communication. And I put a lot of the community stuff on there just to make them think, because they don't want to hear from me anymore. I'm like their mom, kind of, so to speak. Um, So they don't want to hear from me anymore. So I want them to hear it from somebody else, you know? So I think that's valuable.
I love it. Yeah, I love that you're using the data. And for those of you who don't know, we have an arm called the Community Institute, and that's what Jill's referring to. We do quite a bit of research and data. Pivot Point is one of the sponsors for that study, which looks at earnings for hairdressers across the United States. And so it's really, really compelling. And, it's just reminded, I do think there's a huge change in generation, and that is certainly not my expertise on, different styles of working and things like that. But I do think there is what I believe is it's a gap with education more than anything, right? Like there's this focus on wellness, there's focus on time off. And I think, there's a plethora of social media and bombardment around that, like work less, make more type thing. But at the same time, I think there's some really solid practices and facts. And when we give people those facts, they make different decisions, right? It's one of those things, we say this all the time in our company, in the absence of information, people make up their own stories. That's our CEO. He says that all the time. And it's true. And so if we give them proper, reliable information and education, they might make different choices. They might not, but they might. So
Yeah,
yeah.
during we were with coaching our students and our staff, showing them the data is everything because it takes the emotion out of it and you're not judging them in any way. So you're just showing them true facts. And then you give them a kind of a roadmap of what they can do and you kind of meet them where their goals are, so it's not about you, it's literally about them. But then when you give them the facts, it's amazing how what you just said is so true. If they didn't have that data, they wouldn't know that this much more can give them this much more, So
Right.
it's so
Yeah.
true. So
I
true.
mean, and it's really interesting to me because sometimes that seems like rocket science to someone. Like if you want to make more money, just work a little bit more. And there's like this dirty word with that. But I'm even thinking like I always look at this from other industry standpoints too, and other industries. And it's like my husband is picking up extra shifts for the whole weekend because he wants to make more money. And he's in, the craft of medicine. And it's like that's what you do. You take on more hours if you want to make more money in many cases. So it's just really interesting and how we can have a deeper conversation around that in our industry.
Yeah, but I also think that I think it's great that we have this tool so that we can show them because oftentimes they'll say, "Oh, I want to buy a new car," or "I want to buy a lake home," or "I want to add on to my lake home," or whatever their goals may be in their coaching sessions. Well, then we can take that goal and work it backwards because we actually have the data to do it. And then they just go, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that." Well, nobody's ever told them how to do that. I mean,
Right.
I have an identical twin sister who is also my partner in everything I do. And lives across the golf course from me as well. So we are very close and we're so different. She is so data accountant type, loves spreadsheets. And I love spreadsheets too, because I like what I learned from them, but she likes to create them and do all that stuff where I'm more the culture person, people person, but having the two together, I think has worked well for us
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're so opposite. And I got to tell you, people get us mixed up all the time. And I don't even think we look so much alike, but our voices are identical. I did just tease her husband the other day and I just have so much fun doing that, but it is fun.
That could be
On the phone, you can't tell us apart, but if you see us, I wear lipstick and she doesn't. So if anybody knows us, just look for that.
That's so funny. Well, I mean, the flip side of all this, though, is back to your original point, is that let's just say that you are a single mother and you want to start a career, right? And you want
Yep.
you want to have something that's impactful and powerful, but maybe you don't have a support system, and you have to kind of create your career around the time where your kid is at school, or at childcare, and you figure it out, and this is a career, and this tool can help somebody to kind of plan that out and map that out, and so it's there's not a one size fits all in this whole thing but what this tool allows you to do is know what your limits are, right? And know how you plan and know how you save money and know how you sign an agreement and what that agreement says to you and all that jazz. And so I think that's also equally as important because our industry fills a niche, right? And so I'm sure we've all experienced multiple people that came into our industry because we're a welcoming industry, but we're a supportive industry. So I think this is also a great tool for that as well.
Yes, and we are very data driven. I love surveys. People say, "Oh, I don't want to serve myself. I don't want to hear what I don't want to hear." And we want to hear what we don't want to hear. And sometimes I'm shocked how negative some people can be. I mean, when you build up a facility like this and you're giving them this and that, and they, sometimes you can't make everybody happy. But at least if we have the data, we can show them why they're not making where they want to make. But the surveys is what made us realize how many single moms we had at the school. And then we even took it a little bit deeper. I always say peel back the onion a little bit more, and coaching with these girls, and some of them don't get any child support, and
Wow.
they're on welfare and all of this. So that's why we created this program, because there's just so many. And even if it was a single dad, I mean, I'm starting to see a few more of that,
Yeah.
those too. So all of that's so important to how can we serve them, because
Yeah.
they're my family, so to speak, and I'm
Mm.
responsible for them. So that's kind of why Cunity, when Aaron first showed me this, I was just like blown away. I remember where I was sitting on the first time years ago, and it's evolved since then.
Yeah.
So I was just so excited to see somebody take this role in our industry and take it to the next level. I'm sure that's why Pivot Point got involved, because nobody's ever done this before. And I think it's so necessary.
Mm. I
Yeah.
remember where I was sitting when I first talked to you too. I think we were both in hotel rooms.
We were.
Actually. Yeah, because you were dealing with something. Yeah, I remember that very vividly too.
Yes, my husband
So
was going through cancer
yeah.
at Mayo, and I quick ran to the hotel so I could take this call, because I knew in the hospital it was too noisy.
I know.
So,
I'm like, what are you doing on the phone with me, Jill? She's like, no, I want to look. So
and
um,
sometimes you just need to keep your mind busy. And I
yeah.
was so blessed. My husband's doing great, and
Great.
his
Oh,
his
good.
chance of recovery is very, very good. So I feel very blessed.
Oh,
They say at 3 years, it gets way up there in the percentage of it coming back, and we're at 2 years right now. But
Brilliant.
yeah,
Good
so
energy coming your way, that continues. That's awesome. That's
yes,
awesome. But I always
yeah.
say good when you put out good things in the universe, you get back good things. And I think, part of this journey that you're on, particularly making sure that this next generation of folks in our industry are successful is probably a tribute to that. So you're I mean, it's interesting because you approach this a little bit different. You're fortunate that you have an operations team, right? So you have this great team.
Mhm.
They're all very smart, they're all very capable, and they're all very intelligent. But let's just say in a standard state, like in a normal state that doesn't have all these crazy controls out there. Maybe let's just say a 1,500-hour state. That's just basically a standard state. Like how did they incorporate the content into your curriculum? Did they literally like put it into the different phases? I know how you break out your education. Did they incorporate it into those different phases, or did they literally do they fit it in where they can? Like, what was our strategy when they implemented this for your schools?
in almost, well, every state we have has a section on business.
Okay.
So when we started spec, we were kind of a customized blend of education. So we infuse some of the Redkin education with us, and then we also infuse
Sure.
some of the spec education. We were doing our own business piece, and it wasn't as detailed to the point of Cunity. That's why when she showed me all that, I thought, oh, this is great. Because ours was
Yeah.
in the levels of your performance and how much more you can make, but they took it and they dialed it back, or like I say, peel back the onion even more, which makes it even simpler for the student to grasp, because we're working with lots of different learning behaviors. So they need the five senses. They need to have all of them to integrate all these different learning behaviors, because some people need to see it. Some people just
Right.
need to hear it. All those things are so important. So in the business section is where we install it. And then again, in some states, we can't do all the hours that we'd like. Because when we first met with Aaron, I was trying to go by state of where we could put it into the curriculum where they had room, because some of these states went from 1,500 to 1,000. So then
Right.
we had to make it extracurricular, but then we could give them that when they needed to make up days or make up hours. Let's say they were sick for a week, or let's say they had COVID for 2 weeks. A lot
Yeah.
of people needed to make up hours. Well, what a great task to put them on and make it a good student learning experience when they have to make up those hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah, I think that's a huge best practice alone is just, filling space if they've got downtime, having them go towards this program. And so, I'm looking at time and I want to be respectful, especially because it's a Friday. So
It's a Friday.
my last question for you, Jill, is, you've now experienced and played with the curriculum for, a while. Well, not a, how long have you been using the curriculum? I'm now
I mean,
blanking.
almost 2 years, right after
Yeah,
you
almost
and
2 years.
spoke. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So is there anything you'd recommend for schools looking to bring in the curriculum, or maybe a school that has it and they're like, hey, I think we want to tweak, the way we're delivering it? Just kind of general recommendations for both of those types.
Well, when we onboard it to all the new classes, when they come in, because we have classes starting every month. So part of our section is I actually have one educator that's in charge of it, and she goes in and onboards it with everybody. She shows it to them on the big screens. So she kind of ramps it up and gets them excited because it's different from state to state of what schools can put it in, but at least they're aware of it. They have it in their kit. So it's something for them to use. Our educators, on the other hand, we have a certain area, it's called our library. When everybody's making up hours or anything, that's where they go. And then we have big screens up there. If there's not a lot of people in there, otherwise they can take their computers out and they can do it on there. We used to use iPads, but now with all the virtual education that we do, we're using laptops. So it just has a better high-speed function. But the big thing is to ramp them up and make them understand the why. We always tell them that education is the most powerful tool that you'll have to fight anything. That's kind of a Nelson Mandela statement, but I so believe in it. And some of these single moms, you guys, when they come to me and they're all poor me, pity, 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 that's up to you. If you want to put that black cloud, you can, or you can focus and you can learn more and you can get yourself out of this.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
We always say at Pivot Point, knowing why allows you the freedom to create. So
Right.
if you really understand the
I
why,
love that.
it's the most powerful thing. Leo Passage, our founder, we have that all over our corporate office walls, and it's something we live by. But I love that you follow that mantra as well. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, we've got 2 minutes to go. And so I'm going to wrap us all up. First of all, Jill, any final words that you'd like to say to everyone listening, or recommendations, thoughts?
Well, first of all, I have to applaud Erin and her dad and Pivot Point for jumping on with them to bring this to our industry. Because for so many years, we did not have this. Now we have this. As long as you can have your staff or your students understand the money, it'll only make them earn more. And I truly feel that the more you learn, the more you earn, and the better you live.
Totally.
And those three things are so important to everybody, not just only the employee or the student, but also it makes the salon better too. It makes us all stronger.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for that, Jill. So for those of you who are curious about learning more, you can scan here to stay connected with us, or go to our website. We post lots on social media if you want to stay connected with us there. And I just want to close up, since this is our final day of Community Camp. For those of you who have been with us every single day, it's hard to see, but I know many people are also looking at the recording. I've had so many people already ask me, when's the recording coming out? So I love that. And I think this has been so valuable. The most valuable possible thing we can do is to hear from people like Jill. So Jill, thank you for giving your time, 30 minutes on a Friday, just for sharing this with so many other school owners and just really giving back. I'm super grateful. Elcott, thank you to you and your team for helping us co-host this event. And I hope to meet many of you in the near future. And with that, this closes our Community Camp February 2024. So thank you all so much.